Welcome back to the Real Talk Podcast, episode 179. I'm your host, Nathan, and I'm joined by the man himself, Matthew Neves, to my left.
Thank you, thank you.
And today we are going to be reviewing Mickey 17.
Mickey 17.
As you may notice, switched up the set a little bit, switched up the vibe. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. But even if you don't like it, we're keeping it. Sorry.
You guys don't have an option in this regard.
Yeah, we just felt like we wanted to switch it up so I could
Yep.
look Neves in the eye when I tell him his movie takes are terrible.
Always. Always.
So yeah, I feel like I was missing that, you know?
You don't have to worry about turning all the way around. Being like, oh, my fucking neck. God damn it.
We're trying something a little different. You might notice some different shots throughout the episode. Let us know what you think. Let us know. Mickey 17.
Finally.
Finally.
It's here.
It's here. We talked about this movie briefly, like literally in one of our first episodes together,
Yeah.
about how it was one of our most highly anticipated movies for
2023?
what year was it first? It was going to come out.
Or no, 2024 and then 2025.
But in 2023, we already had that picture.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
The picture of him in like an MRI machine.
How long has it been, Nathan? That picture looks. I think it was 5 years ago. It feels like.
Bro, I wrote a whole movie in my mind around that picture. I don't know
Yep.
about you, but I was like, oh, this is going to be a sci-fi, like dark sci-fi epic. Like I was
Yeah.
writing this movie in my head just from that image because I stared at it for years.
Right.
And that's not necessarily what we got,
Mm-hmm.
but I am happy with what we got.
Absolutely, same here. I mean, who would have thought? Bong Joon-ho, great director. He came off of Parasite before this film, and that film won so many awards, well deserved in every category. Made a
100%.
ton of money at the box office as well. I feel like that was one of the first films, or at least more recent films, that was outside of North America that a bunch of people all around the world enjoyed.
Oh yeah, that became like that was a movement. It was pop culture. Parasite's
Yeah.
pop culture. Like it really broke the barrier, and,
Mhm.
and it was refreshing to see.
Right. And winning Best Picture too really showcased that. I feel like that was a milestone not only within the Academy, but like just the industry itself being like, hey, like we're gonna give this to the best film.
Yeah, exactly. Which
And it just so
usually-
happened to be the most
Which
popular.
usually doesn't happen. And
Nope.
yeah, it was a foreign film. It
Mhm.
was a film that cost $11 million to make.
Yeah.
Relatively cheap budget.
Hmm.
So it's one of the greatest accomplishments, and like it's one of those Oscar stories that's
Yeah.
like it's a standout best picture.
And with every award season type of thing where a movie like Parasite wins a ton of awards, you think to yourself, you ask yourself, like, what's the next project Bong Joon-ho is gonna do? And it's this film.
And
It's
this is not the immediate direction you think he's going to lean into,
nope.
and that makes me like him even more.
Yeah, exactly. It's a way bigger budget film. You said 11 million for Parasite. This cost 118 million,
Correct.
which is insane. But I'm glad it exists. I'm glad that Warner Brothers put the money into this project, and it really shows a different style from Bong Joon-ho that most people wouldn't assume post Parasite. It's a sci-fi dark comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a sci-fi dark comedy, but done right with something to say, not just setting up jokes.
No, yeah.
Actual good world building,
Mm-hmm.
actual interesting characters.
Right. It actually uses the humor to work with the characters. It doesn't use the humor just for the sake of it, you know.
Actual like moral dilemmas that these
Yeah.
characters have, and some really interesting ideas they're exploring in some comedic ways that I think really work.
Absolutely. I mean, like the introduction, I really enjoyed. You know, getting right into it with Robert Pattinson and his, I want to say Jerry Lewis impression. I don't know. It gave off
Yeah.
Nutty Professor Jerry Lewis vibes.
Yeah, the voice was jarring in the beginning. I'm not gonna lie. First few minutes, I'm like, oh, he's doing a funny voice.
Yeah.
And the last voice I heard him do was Batman.
Yeah, the Batman.
Been outside in 30 days. Halloween night. Right? And then you hear him do this like impression, which
Well,
I
yep.
heard that he was like one of the voices he tried to like emulate for this. It doesn't really end up sounding like it, but he was doing Steve-O from Jackass and like
that is hilarious.
yeah.
That's not even close. Imagine he did Bam Margera. It's like, all right, guys, the Mixie 18, man.
it's just
Some jackass character.
it's just an accent and voice that I did not know he even had in him. And at first I was like, "Oh, this could go bad," but very quickly I forget, and I'm just like, "Oh, he's this character. This is Mickey.
Right.
This is not Robert Pattinson."
Yeah.
And good on him, man. Like I just love that he's so against being typecast. Like he's
Mhm.
like, "I am not
Yeah.
the fucking vampire from Twilight.
I'm not just Batman. I'm
I'm
not
not just
just
Bat."
Edward so
Yeah,
and so, you know? It's like
exactly. I'm a great actor.
I'm an actor. I play multiple roles, and that's what I liked about this film. It kind of showcases that other side of him with Mickey 18,
Yeah.
where Mickey 18 feels like a commentary of people assuming Robert Pattinson's role is like, yeah, he's the tough guy. He's going to kill this motherfucker and all that stuff. And
Right.
I love that dynamic between that character and Mickey 17 being like, why are you so mean? Why are you?
And look, and when a one actor plays two characters in a film,
Yeah.
it could go bad.
Oh, The Flash.
It could
Yes.
it could go bad. We
We've
could list plenty of examples of it going terribly bad.
Yeah.
Here's one where you barely even think about it.
Yep. From his performance of both characters to the technology was so seamless.
Visually, so seamless.
Yeah.
And these are two distinct characters that
Mhm.
have their own personalities and are like well written enough that
Yeah.
you don't think about it. It's just two different characters, and you're so bought into this world and
Mhm. Yeah.
the printing of people and the duplicates, right?
Mhm.
The multiples
Yeah, yeah.
that I didn't even think about it, and
Mhm.
only after the film I was like, wow, that was impressive.
Yeah. I
Um,
really enjoyed the world building too. It gave me Paul Verhoeven vibes of like Starship Troopers and stuff of how like in your face everything is. Because that's the thing with a lot of like satire in movies is like if it's too in your face, sometimes it gets lazy, sometimes you eye roll, but this movie's so creative with its world building and concepts of characters and
yeah,
jobs and stuff that I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of fine with the in your face politics of like Mark Ruffalo, you know?
yeah,
Cuz it works with this insane world.
I agree. When you do the proper setup of making me buy into this world
Mhm.
that like anything's kind of possible in.
Right.
And it's like the over the top Mark Ruffalo is great. I think it's like a fun addition. He brings great comedy to it.
Mhm.
You could tell he's having a lot of fun with it.
The fake teeth that he has
I
and the
l-
slick back
yeah,
hair.
literally just like any still of him, you're like almost
Yeah.
already laughing because
Mhm.
he just looks so silly.
Him and Tony Collette as like the political couple
Yeah.
or whatever.
When he did
It's
the slick back hair, he looked like Kramer.
You know what? I kind of saw Kramer. You know what I also saw? I saw Abel Ferrara, some
Okay.
director, where he
Yeah.
kind of has a slick back hair and he looks
Yeah.
it's like, who are you? But yeah, he gave off crazy vibes,
And I
which
love that.
works well because as the film progresses, I think he looks crazier and crazier, which I think is a little signature of what that character becomes visually speaking.
Yeah.
He gets more bombastic, more insane, more like, I film me. I need to show the world how awesome I am and stuff. I was like, I like that. I like the use of cameras in this movie, the media.
Yeah.
It's all done in a way that just I don't see a lot of sci-fi satire like this.
Yeah.
It's a very rare genre that comes around. But yeah, no, world building's great. Trying to think what else.
Cinematography's great.
Oh, it's
It's
beautiful.
it's still taking chances.
Hmm.
I think the effects work really well. I was like all in on like when we meet this alien species
Mm.
and kind of get into their world. I think that those scenes look beautiful,
Yeah.
especially when they're all together towards the end.
Hmm.
Man, I think this movie is like refreshing. It's a film that I feel like I have not seen yet.
Yeah. No, exactly. I mean, like, obviously, this movie was based off of a book, Mickey 7,
That's
not
right.
17.
Yeah, Edward Ashton's novel Mickey 7, which came out in 2022 and was actually the adaptation was being made before the book even came out, which is interesting, a pretty rare case.
Right, exactly. I wonder if Edward Ashton and Bong Joon-ho discussed that.
Hmm.
Like Bong Joon-ho is like, okay, cool. I'm gonna do this, this, and this instead, and just
Yeah,
kind of have like an interesting like convo about that because obviously, Edward was the one in charge of the concept. He was the one who, you
right.
know, um, but every film's gonna be slightly different than the novel. You can't be exactly like the novel. You gotta try some new shit, different shit. And I feel like Bong Joon-ho, I'm only speaking on behalf of the movie, not the novel, but he must have done some new, different angles.
Yeah.
Um, what did you think of the narration?
Okay, usually not a huge fan of narration, and I know you're not either.
Yeah.
I think there was a lot of narration in this film.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think. I know there
You
was
know. Oh,
I
yeah.
know that there was a lot of narration in this film, but I do think it kind of worked for the most part. I think maybe I wanted to live with a few of these Mickeys in the beginning a little bit longer. And from what I understand, a lot of it was shot and cut out of this film because this film was a little bit long, like a lot longer.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
It feels like something in this movie is cut down.
Yeah. That's where the narration comes in
Was the
and
studio a
a
part of
lot of
that?
it's montage. I believe so, you
Because the
know.
studio like the narration throughout the entire film, it's not just at the beginning, it's everywhere.
Mhm.
I feel like that was a studio interference.
Yeah, I could have lived with some of these Mickeys a little bit more instead of getting the Cliff Notes version narrated.
Yeah.
Did it take away from the movie for me? Not really. This movie is still 2 hours and 11 minutes. It's like,
Yep.
I don't know if I needed a 3-hour Mickey 17. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. Not to say like director's cut, but like I that's part of why I don't think this is on the same level as Bong Joon-ho's films in South Korea, like Parasite, Memoirs of a Murder,
Mhm.
Mother. Like those are his peak.
Yeah.
That's his fucking peak. And this falls more into, not to say it's bad, but it falls more into his American films like Snowpiercer,
Mhm.
where it's a good
Right.
fucking movie. You're gonna have a good time, and it's so much more unique than other movies in this genre. But like yeah, that's what I feel like. It's not his greatest work, but you still get a lot of cool moments from him. What he's showcasing.
Yeah, you do. He's still a great filmmaker, and I think it's not just the sci-fi comedy genre is a genre that it's like dead.
So fucking rare. Like,
Rare. It's very rare you see a movie that comes out in this kind of genre. So he's taking a big chance here, and it's not just set up for comedy, man. Like I think he really has something to say.
oh yeah.
I think the moral dilemmas of the reprinting and having like what I thought was really interesting is like it's not like you're just transferring his brain.
hmm
You're just like it's like iCloud. You're just
Yeah,
like it's like your last save state.
exactly.
You're just like
So,
so it's just a copy of it.
mhm,
So it's not really him, but it's just like a copy of him,
yeah.
which he remembers. And I think that's really interesting and a premise that I haven't really seen. I guess we've
mhm.
seen before in film, like the transfer your brain into somebody else,
Right.
but this idea of like your your being, your
Mhm.
consciousness is on this brick
Yeah.
that we could just keep re-uploading, and it just keeps updating.
I like that though. I
It's
like it.
very
It
interesting.
reminds me of like not exactly, but like a Groundhog Day scenario where it's like repeating
Yeah.
your self identity and stuff like that. This falls into that category personally.
And what I like is that they're all slightly different
Yeah.
because it's not the same person, and each of them they have the same past experiences,
hmm
but their current experiences kind of shape who they are,
Yeah.
what they're doing on that mission, what their relationships are like at that time.
Right.
And I thought that was a really interesting thing that I hadn't seen done and really had me in on those sci-fi elements
hmm
where I think I wanted more of that, going
Yeah.
deeper into those moral dilemmas instead of some of these subplots that you get here that are a bit weak. I think that there's a subplot with a love triangle that doesn't do
They
anything.
could have strengthened that a lot more because there's a scene with the other girl talking to Mickey 17. This line got me emotional. That's how good this fucking movie is at times with the blocking and the characters and performance. It's a one shot, two shot, and they just push into them. There's no coverage of anything else, and she kind of just looks at him, and you see that relationship build where she's like, "I don't know, you seem different. You don't seem like a print. You seem like a person." And then the music kicks in.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wanted more of that shit.
And then we almost never see her again. We get a scene with her and the
Yeah,
other girl,
yeah,
and then you see her at the dinner, and then where else?
that's it.
And then that's it.
I'm
It's
like,
like another
fuck.
it's like,
The
that
second half of this film definitely is a little wonky.
another subplot that kind of goes nowhere, or they could have done more with, I think, is Steven Yeun's character.
Oh my god, yeah, he's rushed.
He's rushed as hell, but when he's on screen, I like him. I like his energy. He's like
Yeah.
the degenerate, like he gives me the Han Solo vibe, right?
Kind of like Han Solo or like, Billy D. Williams' character
Sure.
and stuff,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Mhm.
So he gives me that energy, but he just comes and goes
In
as
and
he
out.
pleases,
Yep.
and they don't really build up tension with him. And when he comes in, it's just kind of taking away from the more interesting stuff that I was more locked into.
Yeah. His arc too, where it's like Robert Pattinson's like, "All right, this is how his character ends," and it's like, "Oh, oh,
Yeah.
that you're just gonna show it in a montage?" I was like,
Or even how this is how our relationship started. We opened a macaroon shop and we get like one shot of them in like an alleyway
yeah,
getting.
I was a little, yeah.
I didn't like that. I thought that could have been flushed out a little bit more.
Wouldn't it
And
be better if like the loan shark or like the guy who's into like killing and stuff like that coincides with Mark Ruffalo's character and makes a negotiation
right,
so that you can bring those character worlds together?
exactly, and add some stakes to it.
Eh, I don't know. It gave me like Return of the Jedi where it's like, why didn't Jabba like talk to like Darth Vader or something like that? You know what I mean? Where it's like it seems like a character moment that would have developed really well with this
Right.
in terms of comparing other sci-fi films that kind of could have done more.
Yeah. So those are my gripes with this film. I think those points could have just been reworked a
Mhm.
bit or removed in favor
Yeah.
of more of this like moral dilemma stuff, which I
Mhm.
think is really interesting.
Yeah. They could have removed it. Could have had to do a couple rewrites of the script, edit a bit differently, obviously, because it's still part of the story. But I feel like you could have gotten away with it.
Yeah.
I feel like the main thing this movie's trying to do is the aliens, the creepers. They call them the
Right.
creepers. Fucking Minecraft. But no, it's like they do that, and it's like, what's your angle now? Are you going for the, this reminds me a lot of like, oh, don't interfere with other planets this way. It's very negative. You're killing for the sake of
Yeah.
killing. Are you doing that angle? Are you doing, Mickey Seventeen's moral dilemma of self identity? Are you doing the political aspects of both of those with Mark Ruffalo? Are you doing the loan shark thing? Like, I
Yeah.
love Bong Joon Ho. He had a big budget and he just put everything on it.
Right.
He put every theme and message that he's done in his life into this movie, it feels like.
Yeah, I agree, and I think it could have benefited from a bit more of a singular focus. Like,
Yes.
out of all of those plot lines that you talked about,
Mhm.
I'm way more interested in his moral dilemma
Yeah.
and him, finding his identity.
Mhm. Same. That was probably the best part is when Mickey 17 and 18 talk to each other,
Yeah.
and it's little moments because I feel like there's so much other shit going around in the world. Even though I kind of like how simple the climax is, the premise, it's all in a spaceship outside of the snow planet. They're not going to like 50 planets and like fighting evil pirates or
I thought the
whatever.
climax was really satisfying.
Yeah.
Had some emotion, had like some good action visually when they all like pile on top of each other
Yeah.
to like hide the mother.
Mhm.
I was like, this is dope. This is,
Oh yeah.
this gives me Star Wars energy
Yeah. But in a
in a
different
different way.
way, and
Yeah.
that's what you need to do with, like, sci-fi films is, like, trying to translate it to something interesting. Like, I like the part where he's talking to the creature using the translator and stuff, and it's, like, that voice that the creature has talking to Robert Pattinson. It's, like, very simple.
Yeah.
It's death. It's like, "What?" It's like, "You killed one of us, we kill you, one of you."
Explode.
Yeah, explode. Which I also love the reveal of that.
Right.
That's a very nice reveal that they
That they
had.
were, yeah,
They were just
bluffing.
bluffing, yeah, and, I like how all this is happening. It's just that there are little moments where I was like, maybe a couple rewrites wouldn't hurt because you said that the novel was being written during the movie.
That's right.
Gotta give it some time if it needs it,
Mhm.
especially pre-production because I had this feeling where Warner Brothers is like, "All right, Bong Joon-ho, we'll give you $100 million budget,
Do whatever you want kinda thing.
but you gotta make it now." And we'll give you a couple notes if it's 3 hours.
Mhm.
We okay, we're not releasing a 3-hour long, you
Right,
know?
so you think they were like, "Parasite just want everything, and we need your next one fast."
We need it, like, now, and Bong Joon-ho was like, "Okay, well, I know this writer, he's doing this concept, I wanna talk to him." And they're like, "Yeah, yeah, 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 but, yeah, we need it now."
Yeah. And that's not really what happened ultimately because the editing and post production took so damn long.
Mhm.
And I think the story is yet to come of why really. I tried to do some research onto it, and it's
Mhm.
like kind of unclear. Like, yeah, they were recutting, and I think they trimmed the film down, but
Yeah.
that takes adds years to a film. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know, man.
I don't know either. It is funny though, because I was thinking of like directors who have won an Oscar and then right after they make a film that's like really big budget. Damien Chazelle. La La Land, right after that, he did Babylon.
Oh my
So I'm just thinking, like, did he have trouble doing Babylon as well? Because the studio was like, okay, this is $100 million, but like we need it now
yeah, right.
because you just won an Oscar and we need people to be relevant still.
I stand on Babylon as being like
Oh
so
yeah,
fucking good, and I know you like it as well.
fucking love it. But also, that didn't make money.
I know.
Do you think this movie will make money?
No,
Fuck.
the thing is, no, and I feel like Warner should have kind of known. This budget is kind of setting this film up. $118 million. Look, it looks great.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the money went to waste,
Hmm.
but what I'm saying is this premise just didn't look like. I don't know. This film just didn't give me blockbuster vibes,
I just,
right?
yes and no. I feel like this movie is still like mainstream enough that people
Hmm.
will watch it and say, I liked it. It was weird, but
Yeah,
I liked it. You know, like it's weird enough that people won't be staying away from it, but also the marketing is another thing. Like
right.
what is this targeting towards? Because that's what Warner Brothers is probably asking when they see the 3 hour cut or whatever cut. They're like, okay, but who is this for?
Yeah, like I feel like this premise and vibe already, doesn't appeal as much to like a casual viewing audience. And then
Mhm.
if you make it 3 hours, who's gonna come see it?
That's true. And this movie gave me Paul Verhoeven, Terry Gilliam vibes of like dark sci-fi,
Hmm.
satire. Those are good, but also I'm listing the movies that they worked on. And it's like a lot of them didn't make money,
Yeah,
which
it's
is
not for
sad.
everybody, man.
It's sad, but I agree. It's 118 million, so I'm assuming it has to make like what 300 back to break even or 400. Like fuck,
Yeah,
man,
I think
I
for
can't see that.
we're reviewing this opening weekend, but from what I could see now, what the projections are saying, it's like 40-50 million opening weekend,
Which isn't bad.
which is not bad,
It's not
but
bad.
it's I don't know, like, the second week drop offs we've been seeing have been pretty rough lately. Like,
Captain
you look at
America.
Captain America.
It dropped 80% on its second weekend. Wow. But it's Captain America, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm only speaking Mickey 17. I've not seen Captain America. This looks better. It probably is better. Let's
Oh,
be honest. It's probably the best movie that came out this weekend, so please go check it out.
yeah, it's the best movie in theaters right now.
Yeah.
It's the most unique film in theaters right now, I think too.
Mhm.
Which I love. Like I don't think this movie is excellent.
No.
I think it has flaws,
Mhm.
but I will watch this kind of movie every time than like this copycat of another like by the book film. This is
Yeah.
not a by the book film.
Mhm.
Something unique to say, and I really enjoyed it.
Has a great personality too. Nathan, I laughed way more in this than the Monkey Man. Like this
Yeah.
had so many funny moments. Like there's a part where Mickey 18 runs down the stairs with his gun, and like the girls notice, is like, "What are you doing?" And then like in that shot, you see Mickey 17 sliding. He
Yeah.
slides and falls down. I'm like, how the fuck did he?
Really good.
It's amazing. I think there's humor in both of those characters. I think there's humor in various parts of the movie. Some subtle, some in your face, and
A lot of just satire, like
yeah.
not set up punchline at all
Hmm.
in this film, really.
It's the inconvenience of the world too that they notice,
Yeah.
where it's like, you talk about the duplicates or like they bring up the serial killer.
Mhm.
I'm thinking, oh yeah, like that would happen. That's how it would get banned,
That was cool.
right?
That was an
World
example
building.
of, yeah, world building that worked.
Hmm. It was so
I thought
good.
that serial killer section was genius, and I had never thought of it. Like when you think about the duplicates, you don't think about that,
Yeah.
you know?
And that's where the moral dilemma of like people who are overly religious are like, you're not the soul. You're
Right.
just duplicating yourself, so it doesn't matter. And then scientists are like, but we're progressing technology and we could do this and that. And all in all, the ending of the movie is just kind of resulting in it's yourself. Be yourself.
Yeah.
It's a great universal message of like being yourself, standing on your own. Don't try to be somebody else. Don't try to, be fake in a world that's trying to be real, And that's what I feel like Mickey learns in this film. That's why the end of the movie is no longer a number. It's his last name.
Right.
He finally comes back to knowing who he was. In the movie, he didn't know who he was. At the end, he does. And that's
Yeah.
where he finds his last name again.
It is a satisfying resolution.
Yeah. A little sloppy. I'm not going to say the epilogue is like
No, a little sloppy in its execution, but the message is there,
exactly.
you
It's
know?
more clear and, coming from Bong Joon-ho, it's a very hopeful message
Yeah.
in a very fucking weird movie, which I loved.
What was your favorite scene in this film?
Ooh, favorite scene
Because
of
there
this
is
film.
some fun set pieces in this film.
I really like that scene with him and the girl and just her like asking these questions like you're different. I
Yeah.
don't know what it is. And that's kind of like the arc clicking in of Mickey being like I'm not a number.
Mhm.
I'm not a job prop. I'm actually a person because I'm going beyond one day,
Yeah, exactly.
experiencing life. Yeah.
I liked when he first kind of meets, 18 and they're both talking together
Hmm.
and they're like, "No, like if I die now, I don't continue, you do."
Yeah. Hmm.
I was like, "Damn, I did not think of that."
Some of these lines in this movie hit so hard in a movie that's a dark comedy sci-fi. You think dark comedy sci-fi, you think, oh, everything's hilarious. Everything is like, no, you're actually taking in these moments and you're just like, oh, fuck. Like, yeah.
Giving you something to think about. There's multiple of those moments like, "Yeah,
Very
man."
emotional.
Yeah.
I loved it. This is my personal favorite Robert Pattinson performance.
It's
I lo-
impressive as hell.
I think there's a performance that Robert Pattinson has given for everyone, in my opinion. Like
Yeah.
you look at Lighthouse, you look at Batman, you look at Good Time, you even look at the Twilight films. I feel like he
Everything.
understood the assignment in every one of those.
100% he did.
So I can't wait to see his next film. I can't wait to see Bong Joon Ho's next film. I heard Bong Joon Ho's next film is going to be animated.
Whoa,
So
whoa,
look,
whoa.
folks, either way, hey, fun fact, Bong Joon-ho, he can direct. He can direct a movie. We've seen it. He's going to continue
I
cuz
want to
he
see him keep bouncing genres, man. Like, let's
yeah.
see what you can do in all these genres. It's really cool. Like, you have your, dark classic.
Yeah.
Like, let's see something else.
I just hope that more people watch Mickey 17. This went for Parasite as well. I hope they see Mickey 17 and say, "Hey, what has this director also done?"
Right.
And then they see that he's been directing since 2000
Yeah.
and they're like, "Fuck, let's watch his films in South Korea." Like cuz they're really fucking good and that's how he got big is like Memoirs of a Murder was like fucking huge, man.
Hmm.
And then he did Mother and then he also did a few other films. Sorry, little blank.
Hmm.
All of his films are really solid. Would highly recommend them, especially Snowpiercer and Okja,
Yeah.
which are his American release
Yeah.
films.
So, final ratings. I'm going to give this film a nice, strong 3.5.
Yeah,
Fun, more than worth the price of admission. Has some flaws, but saying something.
I would say 3.5 as well. If there is a director's cut that comes out after this film does well or not at the box office, I'm gonna check it out too.
I'd give it a chance as well.
Mhm.
Definitely want to see what was left on the cutting room floor.
Yeah, yeah.
You heard it, guys. Go see Mickey 17, man. These movies we need to support. Unique ideas we need to support in theaters. Please go see this movie. Give it a chance if you're on the fence.
Mhm.
Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe to your boys. We got exciting stuff coming, new set, new ideas, new vibes coming to the channel. We appreciate all your support. Let us know what you think of the new set. And most importantly, take care, brush your hair.
Peace.